Do you like basketball? Basketball 농구? I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only NBA podcast that I don't know. What are we, Pablo?
We're the only NBA podcast that's ranking every single center. No one's done that.
We're ranking bigs, not just
every big.
Power forward's kind of like low key a weak ass position, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think I have probably one power forward on my list, actually. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm fucking shit up. But yeah, we're ranking big men today. And so yeah, we just ranked wings on Patreon. I know that if you guys saw the trailer on YouTube or Spotify, $5 a month, you could get the rest of that episode plus every other episode we've ever done on Patreon and access to a thriving Discord community. Shit like that. I don't know.
We got like 8 people yesterday. We're literally blowing up. This is literally we're like SNL.
Guys, we are going viral right now. It's crazy.
We're gonna get 1 billion hits.
When I was showing my girlfriend the Robert Pattinson Batman movie for the first time, I was like, this is a great, like, one of my favorite movies in recent years. It's super good. There's just one line that's completely fucked, and they are like raiding the Riddler's apartment compound thing, and they like go up to his PC setup and they're like, oh my God, this guy was really popular on the forums. He had 500 followers.
What forums? Wait, what year is that supposed to take place?
Pretty modern. It's pretty it does a lot with like incel communities and stuff. So I figure it's like fairly modern. But yeah, like
what kind of phones do they have?
Smartphones.
Okay. So yeah, so he has 500 so this is a social media incel forum. This is 500
yeah.
What forum do you have followers on besides Twitter?
I don't know. This one, theriddler.com.
Oh crap. I wonder if I would do good on there. Maybe we'll have to branch out.
Hey, maybe State of the League coming to you. We should go to 4chan. And we should not change any of our opinions on anything. And we should still be like really loud and annoying. And we should just get like death threats from everybody on there.
No, I think we should make a 4chan special edition to cater to those people.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. Coming in at dead last, I have women's rights. I hate them. They're number bottom on my list. Negative, infinity. They're bad. And I don't know enough of the terminology to make like the kind of racist things those people say. It's like talking to someone about like Gundams or something. Like there's so much like or like World of Magic the Gathering. Like there's so many terms and there's so much like lore and layers to all of the shit that they're saying that they could say something and you're like, that's innocuous enough. And then you spend 5 minutes reading about it and you're like, oh, that's actually the most racist thing I've ever heard. That was like an homage to one of the worst people in the history of humanity. And I just didn't catch it.
We could just transvestigate a different player every week. State of the transvestigation.
I like it. Yeah, maybe who so they did Wemby. Who would be another good
Sengun is next.
Sengun
Anyone ever see pics of him? His little Turkish village growing up? I haven't.
He's got feminine hips. He's thick.
He's got eyelashes.
He
carries a lot of weight in his lower body. Interesting.
He's got a recessed Adam's apple. It's not that pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he did voice training to learn English. So
nice.
Yeah.
The Adam's apple thing is funny because I've seen it now where it's like clearly a woman with like this just the flattest throat you've ever seen. Like there's nothing there. And they'll be like, oh my God, Adam's apple fucking bowling ball sized on this one. It's like they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Because they're gonna get us. They're gonna figure out how to have the Adam's apple look flat, but they're still men. So
Fuck.
we have to be on the lookout.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Fuck. What were we just talking about? The Riddler. That's what I was gonna say. You guys, we're talking about the Riddler. I think we should be talking about who's your number one big.
All right, all right. My number one big is
Who?
Nikola Jokic.
Oh, so we're talking about the Riddler. We should be talking about the Joker.
Oh, okay. I feel like we didn't max out that one. there was a transition there, and we did not capitalize
Well, it's
on
because
that.
I didn't want. I mean, I knew to be honest, the first three on this list extremely cut and dry, no brainers to me. And
Well,
so
who's
like,
number two? Two and three's order could be flipped.
I would be shocked. I wouldn't be like, it's not that there's no argument. It's just like I would be shocked if you flipped them. It feels like the pretty normal order how I have them. But yeah, right off the bat, Jokic. Maybe like really, what is there to say at this point? Maybe the best player of all time. One of the best, or maybe the best offensive player of all time. Not the best player of all time
Yeah.
overall.
Go post that on Twitter. Just that, just that clip.
Maybe the best player of all time. Dude, swipe a cam. I mean, this has nothing to do with Jokic because it wasn't even a Jokic take, but he got something off the other day where he's like, people think Kyrie has peaked higher than Jamal Murray in the regular season and the playoffs. What a fucking idiotic thing to think. And it's like, dude, we're already gonna be going to war for like the Westbrook stuff. It's already starting because he had a bad game and his fans were not happy that people were like, then he doesn't look very good right now. Like that's just not something they can tolerate. And so to then bring in the Kyrie brigade as well, it's just it's not necessary. It's too much heat.
And is that true? I don't know what Kyrie's overall numbers look like from 2016, but the finals is crazy.
Yeah, regular season, I would say Kyrie probably clears. And then postseason, I mean, there's arguments for whatever, but I think Kyrie probably has a few more. I don't know. The bubble playoff run was pretty crazy. But regardless, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Jokic. How do you feel about Jokic?
Jokic still in his prime, so he's the best. If he's not the best post up big, he's number 2 or whatever, behind Embiid or what. I don't know who statistically has the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is unstoppable in the post. There's no player who can guard him in the post one-on-one, except maybe Joel Embiid, but who knows? Because I'd like to see more film on it. But one guy dodges the matchup, so no, I'm not. Guys, I don't.
Wow.
Guys, I don't care. don't talk to me about that stuff. But no, he's unstoppable one-on-one in the post. Like not even Anthony Davis can handle it. And then he is the best passer of all time, I think. And so if you double him in the post, that's a problem. He's one of the greatest off-ball bigs ever because he's just the greatest passing hub ever. He's a great screener. He's one of the greatest mid-range shooters ever. And then sometimes he makes threes. So
that was my big question.
There's really not too many answers for the problems that he presents for you. And yeah, like even when the Nuggets lose, it's like, man, why did those guys lose? Why did those guys let Jokic down? Because it's like, yeah, like he's a battering ram that bashes into your pirate ship, and you're leaking no matter what. It's just, can you get the water out before? Good, but you could sink his ship too because his crewmates are idiots. He's got a bunch of Usops.
Oh man, hey, you're gonna get in trouble. You're mischaracterizing him. He's not stupid. He's just scared. Okay.
Well, his lies come true.
Oh, okay, all right. He's got low level reality manipulation. Yeah, Jokic. He last year within 14 feet. What do you think the field goal percentage was?
Within 14 feet, I'm gonna guess it's something nuts, like 54%.
It's 66%.
Oh crap! Wait. Within 14? Actually, that's kind of a huge range. I'm thinking from 14.
No. So just like 14 feet in. So like that includes at the rim. That includes like in the paint. Yeah, just within 14 feet on NBA's like field goal percentage, 5 foot zones type thing. He shot 66% on I think a little over 8 attempts, but that sounds low off the top of my head because he's shooting like 6 at the rim alone. Regardless, yeah, just absurdly efficient, and not just as a scorer, like everything he does with the basketball, there's no wasted movement. Really good, fast, connective passer on top of already being like right now at least the best player in the league at generating layups and dunks for his teammates, I feel like. Uh be that like somebody super athletic like Aaron Gordon waiting in the dunker spot for him to draw the entire front court like around him with his scoring gravity, and then he can just dump it off to him or throw a lob, or guys like Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Michael Porter Jr. too, cutting from the perimeter and getting good looks at the rim, even though they themselves are not particularly good
They
on the
them.
ball. Yeah, they them, the woke Denver Nuggets. Yeah, those guys can't dribble, but they're getting a lot of layups because Jokic every
The
time.
immigrant and the they thems. That's
Nice.
their game plan.
I like it. Yeah, the big questions is the 3-point shot fucked forever? Because Jokic, when he's shooting 38% on like 3 attempts a game, forget like the 46% or whatever he was at in the title run. But when he's just good from three, it truly does feel like an unsolvable problem. Even when you have like Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid, it felt like they barely survived. But when the three is not falling, the road to guarding him becomes a little bit clearer. Like you can at least live with that possession and start to focus on stopping everything else.
Yeah, that's his one area of mortality. And then defensively, I mean, I think people don't realize that he's pretty good now. Obviously, there's issues when you get to the highest levels of the playoffs. Like, he's like if Anthony Edwards is charging full speed at him, probably not going to go
It's gonna be
super
bad.
well. But probably not a situation for most people that's going to go super well. So, but yeah, he's gotten to the point where he's definitely not a negative, and I think he's a solid to pretty solid on that end. And
Mhm.
some people they'll go even higher than that.
Yeah, he's literally top 5 defensive big. Oh my, have you seen his box plus minus? Are you stupid? You don't believe in the advanced stats? Yeah. Exceptional rebounder as well. Like everything with him, I won't say we've gotten used to it, because with my number 2, it definitely feels like we have gotten used to it. It still feels like everything Jokic does at a really high level. Uh, he's still generally getting like props from fans and media. Like people are appropriately being like, "Holy shit, this is crazy. This is historically unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this." Uh, how much longer that will continue, I don't know. But right now, I feel like even coming off of an embarrassing Game 7 loss, generally everyone is still in agreement. Probably the best player in the league, probably the best big man in the league. No brainer for me at number 1.
On the Thinking Basketball podcast the other day, they said something. One of them tracked. I forget the stat, but basically it was like who's the best rebounder the last decade, and it's like Jokic. Like it turns out, so he's just really maxed out almost everything.
Yeah. I mean, the rebounding thing really, when you watch, because like Sabonis averages considerably more rebounds. I think 2.5 more rebounds, maybe. And that's also a byproduct of like the Kings don't have a ton. Like he's gobbling up everything because they're rolling out smaller lineups around him than like Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Uh,
And you try harder at rebounding when you're worse at everything else. So
yeah, and when you get like a couple Moses Malones thrown in there where you just fuck up a layup and you get to get the offensive rebound. But
Oh,
yep.
did you see Andre Drummond? He said on a podcast he misses intentionally, and then everyone got mad. He tweeted yesterday, "I was joking. It didn't even get 1,000 likes."
Nice. I'm sure you were joking, big guy. Yeah, but like the rebounding when you watch in game, consistently the most impactful rebounder in pretty much every matchup, just because it feels like to survive an offensive possession against him and for the shot to like miss, you almost relax. You're like, oh God, like it's over. We get to go try to score now. But then like if he hits one of those like tap to himself 2 or 3 times and swings it back out and they get to reset the offense, it's just like holy shit. Well, like we have to do it all over again now. It feels Sisyphus like.
When he gets that tap Tua himself.
Ha Tap 2. Welcome to Tap. Damn, we should have named it that. Fuck. State of the League. Stupid name. We're rebranding. Welcome to the Tap 2 podcast, everybody. All right. Do you have any final thoughts on him? Like I said, clear cut number one for me. We don't need to like cook that hard.
Yeah. Number 2, timestamp that.
Timestamp it. Number 2, I got Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. Like the Bucks underwhelmed as a team last year. And I think that is like where we all really wanted to see Dame and Giannis come together and this nuclear offensive pairing that complements each other really well. And it wasn't quite that. It felt like they sleptwalked to like the second ranked offense. Like they really underachieved and they still hit that level. But Giannis individually.
Wait. Where did they finish offensively?
I swear they were the second on Basketball Reference.
Oh crap! Well, the sites do have different, but wasn't it Celtics Pacers?
Yes, that sounds correct. Off top. So they were 6th offensively. Fuck off on Basketball Reference. So
That's still crazy.
yeah, I mean, given how like we talked about them, how they spent 4 months were like figuring it out. They don't know what's going on, and it's still just like okay, the floor of this is the 6th best offense in the league that you would assume would translate pretty effectively to the postseason. Dame and Giannis have both been guys who can still do what they do in a playoff setting. Giannis depends on like the personnel and the matchup and everything. But yeah, when I talk about players, us kind of getting accustomed to them dominating statistically, Giannis last year, 30 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 65% true shooting. It was an otherworldly season. He set several records. I think it's the first 30 points per game on above 60% from the field in NBA history, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
And yeah,
but true shooting percentage is not more efficient than what Embiid and Jokic have done. That's how they get you.
well, the free throws. I mean, you have to hit your free throws. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with that. But
Well, I don't know if making free throws part of the true shooting formula. I mean, I think it might just be getting free throws, but
no,
I don't know.
I think it's factored in the total points.
Mm.
Yeah. Cause yeah, like when you look at like Jaylen Brown, his series where he like fucks up his free throws, it really affects his true shooting percentage. But yeah, Giannis, like I said, 30, 11, and 7, insane efficiency. And it feels like we've not underappreciated him because to me, like consensus, still a top 3 player in basketball. It's not like anybody is like ranking him, like fuck, who's the hoops tonight guy? Jason Timpf.
I don't know.
Well, some guy from the volume, shout out to Turd Sesh. He had a top 10 list where he like left Embiid off entirely. And that's not happening to Giannis right now, but it still does feel like maybe we're not like in awe the way we should be of just this overwhelming offensive force who slight tick down defensively last year. Not really where he was back when he was like a lock to make all defensive team, but still impactful enough. Like he was still better than Jokic and everything.
Sometimes it feels like he's doing bad in the playoffs. It feels like super ugly and stuff when they wall up. But still, that when you look back at his stats, it's like every series is the hyper efficient 30 points per game. It's nuts. And then he's like one of the last true way stars or two-way stars left. Like he's an elite defender on top of it all. So
Mhm.
he's a guy who, yeah, it's hard to not take him for granted.
Yeah. And especially like the variety, to be fair to like the way we've kind of settled into him. Um I feel like him making a cool dunk, the shelf life of that highlight and seeing it over and over and over again for 8 years, there's just maybe more variety in like the highlights that Jokic is making in terms of like insane passes. There's a lot of variety there between like full court lob passes or crazy kick out no look passes or um like shit in traffic, whatever. And then he also has a lot of cool highlights in terms of like fadeaway jump shots and stuff like that. Giannis's highlights, offensively at least, it's mostly just going to be like him dunking the ball hard as shit. And so maybe for the more casual fan, that has like it's you're just ready for it now.
Did you see him say the other day that like he's the only guy they've ever invented defenses for?
No, I didn't see that.
He's like they made up a defense for me. Shaq, they didn't do that, and he named a bunch of people that they definitely did do that for. So I don't, he's tweaking.
Oh my god. Hey, shout out to Shaq. Famously, nobody there was no like league wide movement to bolster the end of your bench with guys who were 7 feet tall and 300 pounds strictly so you'd be able to foul Shaq in the biggest games of the season. That didn't happen. That was not true.
There was no kind of rule set for guarding Michael Jordan.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like, what would you even call something like that? It's like, it's ridiculous. You can't even fathom it.
The Jordan manual?
Yeah, what the hell? The Jordan walkthrough, part one? It's ridiculous.
How to guard Jordan for dummies.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Great scorer, great rebounder, great passer, great defender. Really not that many holes in his game outside of like make him shoot a jump shot, which is exceptionally difficult to do over the course of an entire playoff series.
Hey, and play with Damian Lillard better. You idiot.
Hey, run the fucking pick and roll. I did write that down. It's not entirely on Giannis. And considering Dame did not work out the entirety of last offseason because he was scared of getting hurt, I would put the blame more in Dame's camp than in Giannis's camp, but there's blame for both of them. It's a two-man game. That's why it's a two-man game. So you should be, doing your fucking part to run the two-man game. And it definitely felt like when Giannis was swinging it to Dame, it wasn't always the most natural reaction to like kick the ball over to him and then follow it up with a screen. It was very much your turn, my turn. He cooks, I cook. And that's just, yeah. If they can't figure out that action, I think that like changes the ceiling of what this Bucks team could be.
Yeah. So I think just to clarify why Jokic is better, I think the half court scoring for Giannis and the jumper, it just feels like more of an issue than Jokic's defense feels like.
Yeah. Where it's like with Jokic's defense, it kind of feels like whenever a player has a flaw, you could like pick any player out and be like, well, if they played with this guy, that wouldn't be that much of an issue. But finding players to fix or help patch over Jokic's defense, that takes like a KCP Christian Brown level defender. Whereas like finding a player that spaces the floor to the magnitude it takes to completely erase the fact that Giannis can't shoot the basketball, that then requires like an all-star, all NBA level guy in like a, if not Chris Middleton type, Damian Lillard, or just like a supporting cast of exceptionally talented three-point shooters like Brook Lopez. If Giannis hadn't played the last 5 years with Brook Lopez, we don't talk about him differently. He's still like one of the greatest players of all time and everything, but his job is a lot more difficult for sure.
Yeah, and I suppose there's a perspective that you could say the same on defense. Like he was allowed to roam because of Brook Lopez, but still, yeah, he's just really maxed out except for the two little things. So clear
Yeah.
number 2. Who's number 3?
Hey, number 3. This is the end of tier 1 for me. Let me timestamp this bitch though. Combo 25. All right. Well, Jokic can't guard him. He locks Jokic up every time they play. Joel Embiid sits at number 3 on this list.
Here, I gotta blow my nose. Cook on him. Cook on him.
Cook on him. Cook on him. Truly one of the most transcendent offensive players I have ever watched play basketball. There was a moment in time where I did like hate Embiid and I was completely locked in to the agenda wars. This is why Jokic is better. This is why Embiid's better. This is why Jokic is the MVP. This is why Embiid's the MVP. I was in that space for a while, but eventually after the 10,000th mid-range jumper that I watched this like 7 foot, 300-pound behemoth bury with a feathery touch. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of locked in for me that he's one of the greatest offensive players of all time. And especially this past season, uh, like it really did feel like he was on a different level before the knee injury. I would have had like he probably would have won the MVP. That's what he was on pace to do. I know they introduced the games played rule almost directly as a result of all of like the I don't want to like crowd noise or media noise, but everyone was complaining that Embiid was playing the fewest games an MVP ever had, and then he immediately comes back the next year and they have a games minimum played rule uh to like make sure you can or can't win an award. But yeah, he was exceptionally good this past regular season, probably clearly the best at basketball he's ever been. And I think this postseason he put a lot of people's worries to rest as far as like, is this just him getting hurt or is this like DeMar DeRozan postseason completely falling off a cliff? And in the Knicks series, he was hurt and he still played at a ridiculously high level. You're muted. You're muted.
I'll tell you what, I don't think he did put put people's doubts to rest, because when I listen to other podcasts like Bill and Rosillo, they're like, I'm not doing it anymore. After this last
I
run,
don't
I
give
can't put him top 3 or what. I think people walked away from that series like disappointed. I don't know how. Like
Mhm.
I guess they weren't locked into the plus minus. They weren't
You
saying
don't
like, oh, they weren't saying, oh, this team is imploding the second he steps off the court.
even.
Like they are they are like statistically a YMCA team when he's off the court, and then they're competitive when he's on the court. So I think he's definitely underappreciated right now. And so why is he not better than Giannis?
The durability factor. He he probably is a better basketball player than him when he's 100%, because I think he is right there with him defensively. Like I think he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, and the lateral movement, like you're going to see it fall off over the next few years, and that's going to compromise him as like a switchable guy. But rim protection should be there till he's done. Like he's going to be a good rim protector for as long as he plays basketball, just by virtue of his size and his timing. um, and then offensively, I think with the addition of his improved passing, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You could argue that we just like haven't really seen the game get to a point where like the whistle tightens up to the extent where it would like really fuck up Embiid's game, or when it has gotten to that point, he's already been so hurt or played so poorly that it hasn't really mattered. But in this Knicks series, you know, he was getting to the line whenever he wanted. He's like, you can't not foul him. And it's annoying, and I don't love to watch it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend it as like more exciting basketball than Giannis, but it's definitely like uh more effective in the half court. I'll say that. But Giannis, I mean, just like a titan of durability while being like 95% of the player at least.
Yeah, I think the floor of Giannis is just higher. Like you're almost guaranteed to have those high volume, high efficiency scoring nights and high level defense every single night, even if there's some lags. Whereas Embiid can have some ugly nights, but
It's
still
horrific
just
when Embiid, like, the offense completely falls apart when Embiid is at his worst. We have seen him like completely fuck up the game for everybody on the floor. Uh, but yeah, I like the Giannis high floor argument.
yeah. So Embiid, elite post up player, elite jump shooting big, like probably one of the best jump shooting bigs ever now, from the mid range at least.
Mhm.
Um, and then gotten better as a passer over the years. He's pretty good. I still don't love it, but it's clear there's been progress made. Um, and then yeah, defensively, when he is locked in, he's a game changer. Um, but I think he definitely has more trouble balancing the load, the two-way load than Giannis does. I don't know if how often he can maximize both ends of the court, whereas Giannis can do it like night to night. So that would be my holdup.
Yeah. I also just wrote down like an example of the decision making. I don't want to like credit him for Maxi playing well, like give him all the credit, but Maxi was like 10 points per game in the fourth quarter in the Sixers Knicks series, and a lot of people who were, criticizing Embiid kind of pointed to their dynamic in the fourth quarter, how Maxi took over and Embiid's role kind of reduced as a scorer. I think he was only 5 or 6 points per game. I would argue that in previous seasons, you would see Embiid play a style of basketball that in those fourth quarters would not allow Maxi to play at a high level, while Embiid also didn't like produce well. And this year, it was more of him accepting the gravity that he produces, drawing in the defenders, and then setting up Maxi to attack a compromised defense well. And Maxi thrived on those looks. Like it was a very good back and forth. Just because Embiid's scoring slowed down in the fourth quarter, I would point to that more as him like accepting the fact that New York is selling out to stop him and him being a mature enough basketball player to like make the correct play. That is a point of criticism that like you would never see that pointed at Jokic or LeBron or any of these guys who admittedly are better decision makers and better passers. But I think it's unfair to levy it at Embiid as well.
Yeah, I'd say compared to Giannis and Jokic, Embiid has had to change his game more than those two, and like that should be a positive. Like, it's very difficult to do that, and so he is somebody now who operates primarily like around the free throw line and operates at the mid range jump shooting spot, which was on purpose. He said that he watched him and Drew Hanlon, like they were watching Dirk film, and they decided like, hey, let's operate from here so that it's easier to make all the passing reads because I'm like in the middle of the floor and up high. And I think that does there's an obvious spacing benefit, even if it's not spaced out to the 3-point line. It's easier than just hanging around down low the whole time. So I do think there's definitely times where I'm like, man, why don't you post in deeper? Like why don't you fight for space off the ball and just get right to the rim? That would make your life a whole lot easier instead of trying to post up from 15 feet out and doing the same thing. But when he's on and he's making all those jumpers, like it doesn't even matter. Like he had Wemby in front of him and he dropped 70 making those free throw jumpers.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, his three was phenomenal this year. It was like 39% on 3 or 4 attempts. Like he was really good. So when all of that is falling, which to be fair, we haven't seen late in the postseason. Like I think this was the first time I really felt like watching him in the playoffs. This is like even the same tier of player that he was in the regular season. Uh, but it was a step in the right direction for sure. And he's just so good in the regular season that I refuse to believe it's just like this this case where he just chokes. He's a choker. That's all he is. He's a born loser. The lights are too bright. I refuse to believe that. He's too good. So yeah, Embiid 3. That ends my tier 1. I don't know what I'd name that tier. Maybe something like just MVP perennial guys. I really feel like they could be the best player on a championship team. That kind of guy. And now we're getting more into, maybe could be the best player on a championship team, but a lot of things would need to go right, and it would need to be like a very deep, well-balanced team for that to happen.
Who's your number 4?
Anthony Davis.
I'm taking the pledge. I take the pledge.
The pledge. What is
I take the pledge. Do you know that? Manu Ginobili. It's an old NBA commercial. At number 4, I'm going Wemby. It's not too early for me. He's the GOAT.
I knew you were gonna do it. I was looking at those two, and I was like, Pablo's gonna put him 4. I have him 5. I don't. It's too early for Anthony Davis for me. But hey, man, if in January I'm looking back at this and I'm like, it's not too early. Like, there's nothing. It's Victor Wembanyama. I won't be that surprised. Like, he's so good. He's so good. So cook on Wemby, and we can talk about AD after.
So I thought Wemby deserved Defensive Player of the Year last year. And I think you had him number 2, right? Behind Gobert?
Yeah.
So the Spurs were a top 10 defense with him on the court, and then they were a YMCA defense with him off the court. Like, he had an insane, massive impact. And then we watched all year long, like, what kind of offensive player and he got better month by month, which is like crazy. There's just so much with him there offensively that the Spurs are somehow sabotaging. But number 1, the play finishing, he's just so massive. It's so easy for him to just score opportunistically. Rebounding, what did he average rebound wise? Do you know? I don't know if he's up there.
10.6.
That's double digits, baby.
And like that, it got month by month better as well. I would wager in 2024 he was putting up something like 12 rebounds a game.
And what did he shoot from 3 at the end of the year?
Let me see. Let me click this. This is the last 43 games of his season. So this is essentially the back half. I think this lines up pretty well with when Trey Jones was slotted into the starting lineup as well. So he is 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists that's 34% from 3, but I think even that ticked up a little bit towards like the final third.
Is that better than what did Anthony Davis do last year? Let me see if
I'll get Anthony Davis outside of 5 feet was not an effective scorer last year. He was incredible at the rim, and then everything else, like, he's lucky to be hitting like 38% of his shots from all the other zones.
So yeah, I think Anthony Davis is fantastic, obviously. And there's like I'm sure there's definitely still areas that you could argue defensively for Anthony Davis, like peak playoff Anthony Davis. Like Ben Taylor has said, that might be the highest peak he's ever seen. Like, he thinks he's like Kevin Garnett level at his very best. Better on the perimeter for sure than Wemby, but just the force that Wemby is at his height as a rim protector already, and this is and I'm assuming he's gonna be better this season. I don't know how much better, but I'm assuming he'll be better at that. I think both of these guys are like top tier elite defensive players. And then offensively, I think you could argue, I think I'm going to bet on there being more from Wemby offensively this year than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is kind of a pure, well, maybe that's downplaying him. He's one of the best lob threats ever. But he's very much a play finisher. Even though he can like beat people one-on-one and post up and stuff too. But I think he's never wowed as a passer, I would say, right? How do you feel about Anthony Davis as a passer?
I think he's probably better than he gets credit for, in the sense that, like, he's not as good as Jokic or Giannis or Embiid or Sabonis or Sengun or any of those guys, but he's not like Black Hole. He's not like
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson Jr. or Rudy Gobert's fine at passing, I guess. I would say Anthony Davis is like a comfortable medium as a passer for me, where especially close to the rim, I think he's like patient enough with his looks that interesting things will often develop in terms of like both kickouts and dump off passes. But yeah, he's not like some of the stuff that Wemby was seeing a second too late last year and kind of forcing and committing turnovers on, or just like missing the play altogether. If he catches up to those looks this year, he will already be a better passer than Anthony Davis to me.
Yeah, and I think the passing for me was the starkest improvement from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Because when I watched him in France, I was like, kind of mid as a passer. Like there's some moments. Some people would freak out about the highlight moments, be like, he's already great. And I was like, I don't know about that. That's probably his weakness.
Look at you now. Look at you now.
But then well, November came and it's like, yeah, Wemby passing, whatever. December, okay. I guess he's throwing some passes.
That was pretty good.
January. Oh, I mean, I guess he like New Year's break. He must have New Year's resolution pass better. February. Whoa.
He's
This
in
guy.
love with passing.
Fast forward to April. What the heck? What in the hell heck? Oh my god. No, he's not he's not that good, but he was getting better month by month. Yeah, he might already be a better hub option than Anthony Davis. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know what the stats are. But I just feel so good about Wemby already, to the point where, yeah, I'm throwing him 3. I'll tell you what. I would love to put him above any one of the top 3, but it's too early. So I'm going to put him at number 4 over Anthony Davis. I think I'm not even downplaying Anthony Davis. I'm just overplaying my GOAT, Victor Wembanyama. I just think he's that good. If anyone else still has Anthony Davis over him, that's fine. You might be, even if you're right today, you're going to be wrong in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years. You're crazy.
Yeah, that's the benefit. That's the benefit of that camp. It's just like people looking back, they'll just be like, you didn't have Victor Wembanyama 4th? Are you fucking stupid? It's literally Wemby, dude. You're talking to me about
me in 2003. LeBron's better than Dominic Wilkins. Peak Wilkins, I'll take LeBron. People feel you're an idiot. You suck. But then me now, yep, I was saying it back in 03. I was right.
Yeah, very little downside to that, because no one would really remember if you were wrong either. They'd be like, that was weird when that guy said that, but who cares?
And we delete this episode if that's wrong.
Hey, absolutely. That's what I always say. If we have any egregious takes, we're cleaning them from the internet. They're lost media forever. Yeah. So Wemby, what I wrote down, otherworldly defensive player whose offensive flashes are extremely bright, and they come pretty often. It's not like something that you just see once a game where you're like, whoa, if he could make that play consistently, then this type, like, the sky's the limit on this player. He's doing stuff once a quarter that you're like, holy shit, I've never seen anyone make that play before. I've never seen it
with the strobe light.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's cranking up the frequency. Yeah. It feels really difficult to stop him when he catches the ball within like 7 feet of the basket, just due to like his wingspan and his touch and his creativity with his like length and going up and over or around guys. And I think all of that will only get better with time. He shot 38% on 2.4 pull-up threes a game last season.
Oh man.
And yeah, like that's insane. Those possessions are another one where it's like, okay, well, if that's going at even just a reliable clip, like how the fuck do we guard this guy? Because he's 2 dribbles and it's a dunk. But if we don't close out on him, he's pretty effective from 3. So it's very tough.
Get under his ribs. You jab in under his ribs. You're here. You're here. Do you know that video where it's like your uncle telling you how he'd fight Conor McGregor? It's like, you're here. You're here.
I thought you were talking about like football, like defensive line stuff. You're in his ribs. You're down here. It's leverage. That's what it's all about.
Oh, have you seen when Kevin Durant tries to go around the offensive lineman?
No. Does he do it?
No.
Yeah.
He gets stopped.
That's not that surprising. Yeah. So the big questions, and this is something when I compare him to Anthony Davis, Wemby as an individual shot creator, I like Anthony Davis as a play finisher more right now, and Wemby does have a tendency to like be like, I can fucking make this, and it leads to some weird low percentage shots. Like his habits offensively, it's not that they'll never change, it's not that they're nightmarish right now, but it's these flaws that, you know, Anthony Davis doesn't necessarily have. Anthony Davis has a really good understanding of like what he's good at, what the team needs him to do offensively, and he does that stuff at an extremely high level. Similar like floor raising season from Anthony Davis. I don't have the on-off stuff, but LA finished 16th defensively, and when you think about like the caliber of player they were rolling out around him, it's like so D'Angelo Russell, complete non-factor, bad, horrible defender. LeBron James, when he locks in, cool. The lows of LeBron James that you experience during the regular season, it's a bad defender pretty regularly. Like it doesn't feel like there are that many games where LeBron's just like a neutral defender. Then you look at Austin Reeves, he's fine, I guess, and Rui Hachimura is good. I like Hachimura, but overall, I think Anthony Davis is a transformational rim protector while still being extremely good on the perimeter, one of the most versatile guys in the league out there at his size. And it's unfair that he's caught the Jokic matchup 2 years in a row, and so now the aura's gone. Nobody believes him in anymore. What are you willing to do about it? Because it's just like, yeah, he can't guard Jokic. Gobert can't guard Jokic one-on-one. Wemby, low key, he's pretty good at it. Because like part of Jokic's game is being bigger than his opponent, definitely. And being able to get like these weird angle hook shots or push shots or touch shots off. Wemby cuts a lot of those off. And so his scoring bag, I won't say it becomes gimmickier when Wemby's guarding him, but it becomes a lot more like, oh, I pump faked 3 times and you finally bit, and then I got the layup, as opposed to just like doing the one shot that I usually shoot 85% on or whatever. So overall, I go AD right now, but Wemby's close. It's not like a non-conversation for me.
Oh, I just got a touchdown from Nick Chubb. He's returning from injury. Oh my god.
Pablo's got a chub, everybody.
Also, I think I saw Watson non-contact injury.
Deshaun?
Yeah, the serial predator himself.
Oh no. What? No.
What the hell?
All of the tendons in his leg evaporated. They turned to steam and his calf blew up.
I search up Watson, and the top tweet is Deshaun Watson is hurt, and then it's a gif of everyone at a bar celebrating, like after someone scores a goal in soccer. Oh, he might, yeah, Deshaun Watson writhing in pain. Let's go, Deshaun Watson torn Achilles, and it's like celebrating gif.
Damn. Okay. Do you have any Anthony Davis thoughts?
No, I got them all out.
I guess my big question, are we getting 76 games out of him again this season? That doesn't feel like it's going to happen, but if it does, it does, you know, whatever.
JJ will get it out of him.
JJ, yeah, absolutely. JJ, he's got mystical healing properties like that. Yep. And then, so yeah, like I mentioned, outside of 5 feet, he was like 40%, 27%, like just really ineffective as a shooter. will we ever see him be good at that stuff again? Because right now he's great. He's great. But I think if that jump shot ever came back, like I agree, when the jump shot
Bubble
falls,
fraud.
hey, if bubble fraud ever returned, dude, oh my god, that's a player that like is he that much worse than, Giannis, Embiid, or Jokic? Who's to say?
I think he can't get into that tier just by virtue of the self creation will never be at their level.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
and I'm just how old is he? Is he 30?
Yeah, he's definitely 30. I think he's like,
He's 2012 draft, so yeah, he must be like 32, right?
yeah. Let me pull this up real quick.
So yeah, with him, I think I think the jump shot year was more of a blip because I think he's just a guy who can knock him down sometimes, but I'm not counting on that returning anytime soon.
Yeah, he'll be 32 in March of next year. So yeah, he's pretty old, and it's not like you're expecting like a revolutionary change in your
I'm
game.
not I'm not expecting this old dog new trick.
Yeah, old dog, new trick, Wemby, baby dog, in a school where they're teaching every trick imaginable. So
Yeah,
hey, if that's a better dog in February or whatever, I won't be shocked. I won't be shocked. So that's what, 5 right there. Do you have AD right behind Wemby?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Who do you have after Anthony Davis?
Bam.
Bam. Yeah, same. Underrated or underappreciated, do you feel like, Bam?
It's tough because I think most people oh, do you hear this fire truck going by?
Yes.
I think most people well, recipes to the survivors. Wait a second, never mind. I think most people know that Bam I think a lot of people respect Bam. I think he's like has a good reputation on like Twitter and stuff like that. I think most people, if you ask them about Bam, they'll be like one of the best defenders in the league, a great passer, great player. It's just he plays in a generation with guys who are better. So, and he also plays on a team that is bizarre, where like his co-star shows up sometimes and he's like the best player in the world sometimes, but then he's regular other times. Um, and so I think Bam is like properly ready. He's always like upset about not getting defensive player of the year because he's like, what the heck? I literally guard all 5 guys. And then you hear that and you're like, yeah, that is true. But then you look at the other people and it's like, well, I don't know. Regular season Gobert's pretty good. And Anthony Davis is pretty good too. And Jaren Jackson that year was pretty good. So it's like he gets it can feel like he's getting slighted, but I feel like every time he gets slighted, it's for someone who's
Hey,
actually it's
Marcus
valid.
Smart here, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like quarterback versus running back. Like sometimes we got to give it to him.
I guess. I'm not giving shit to the running back. Shout out to Mr. Boise State. Gene T?
Ashton Genty, yeah.
NT. Yeah, shout out to that guy. He's sick.
Screw him. He said they asked him on a live stream, "Will you play for the Bears?" He said, "I can't come there. They already have a running back, DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is mid." And then he said, "It's too cold there." I'm like, "What the heck? I thought Idaho was
You
cold
play
too."
in Boise, Idaho. Yeah, what a psycho.
So, someone said it only gets like 20s and 30s there. Is that true?
Well, they're not on the lake. That's the problem.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So Bam, great defender, great big man passer. It is like a bizarre team situation where instead of like having this constant presence where the franchise is like, hey, be anchor our defense, be our second best offensive player, and that's all we need out of you. Like on a night to night basis, Miami is coming to him and being like, fucking carry us tonight. Way more than they should be. Like it's probably an unfair ask for a guy who's just good offensively. But he's really, really like he's great on defense. One of my problems with him, and I'm not sure how the 3-point revolution with Bam is going to change this. he has gotten more and more mid-range pilled year by year, and it fucks with his efficiency in a bad way. Like, it just really reduces his effectiveness as an offensive player, where back when he was just like dunking, layups, like he loved to pressure the rim and he had a nice looking jump shot and that was fine. And like using that to supplement his rim pressure, that's okay. But now, last year, more than a third of his attempts came from like this weird 10 to 15 foot range, where every team is happy to let him have that shot. Like it's just not something that defenses are going to kill themselves if they don't get out to contest really hard. And so yeah, I think that is a place where he could get better. Like if him taking more threes would lead to him cutting those shots out of his diet, I'd be fine with that. I'm not going to miss him that much. I just don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, he kind of is what he is offensively. Like, really good play finisher, but yeah, he'll never. That's what separates him from like Anthony Davis and the rest of these guys. I can't see him ever putting up the volume that they do. And so yeah, just great offensive hub. Like, the kind of guy who really takes nothing off the table. In terms of like, even though he can't space with the jump shot, he's a vertical spacer as a roll threat. He's a great passing hub, so he's contributing on and off the ball. And defensively, like, you could play any type of coverage you want. Like, he's really actually switching 1 through. He is capable of switching 1 through 5 mostly. So yeah,
Unless the
Bam,
five is
just a
Jokic.
great play.
He can't do it. He can't. He's too small. He's kind of small
Yeah.
for 5. It never really rears its head that much because he plays bigger than he is. But I wonder. I hope like him and Cat first round would be a really fun matchup or something.
Yeah, he's like 6'9".
Yeah, 6'9", not like really built or anything, very slender, and that's what
Oh,
contributes.
I think he's buff. No,
He's not. I mean, he's buffer than like Jason Tatum, but like to guard 5s, does he have that kind of heft?
he's not like 250. How much do you think he weighs?
I would guess 235. Bam. Wait, let's check this. Oh, 255. Okay, shit.
Oh, okay.
That,
He's got some meat.
he's listed at more than Anthony Davis. Do you believe that?
I think that's possible.
Huh. Whatever.
Anthony Davis is kind of slender now, isn't he?
He's like, I don't know. He's not
He's got
compared to
He's got big shoulders that pop out. But Bam is huge. Bam's got kind of like a Dwight Howard physique going on.
Hey, whatever. I'm hating. I got exposed as a Bam hater, I guess. That's probably shout out to Heat fans. I gave you a victim ticket for free. Knock yourselves out. Yeah, but transformational defender. I hope of all the people in Miami, I would like to see him get into a situation where he really has a chance to be successful every year the most. Whether that develops in Miami, or whether he winds up somewhere else, I personally don't care. Like, I'd be fine if it happened with the Heat. It just feels like we're getting to the point where like he's just going to be this great player on a very mid team until he's 31 or something.
I forgot. I just remembered. I had a really good idea for a joke earlier, but then I lost my train of thought. When earlier you said there's nothing anybody can do when Jokic as a rebounder, you can't deal with him. And I was gonna say that's why the Bulls got Josh Giddey for the finals matchup, so we could take away some of his rebounds because Josh Giddey's a really good rebounding guard. So
that was good.
Number 7.
Way to reach back for that one, man.
It would have been so funny if I did in the moment. Like, people will probably be talking about it for a while.
Oh my god, it'd blow up. You'd get a comedy special off that. Oh man.
Yeah, I'd probably be on Bobby Altoff's show.
Ooh. Is that girl who talks really deadpan and talks to rappers?
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
bad for her because
Why?
because because her interviews were pretty funny, but then I think she like really blew up on Twitter, and then they all decided they hate her, and then also I think she did cheat on her husband and blew up their marriage.
Damn. Well, I don't feel that bad for her. Oh, poor her. She cheated on her husband. Jeez. Um
I'm just such a feminist. I hate seeing a queen go through pain like that.
Hey, yeah.
I hate that he did something to make her feel like she had to cheat.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that he wasn't a good enough listener, you know? That was so sad. She kept trying to be like, they're being so mean to me on Twitter right now. Um, and he was like, yeah, yeah, whatever, babe. And then he turned on Call of Duty and ignored her, and she left and cheated. I can't believe he did that.
And I feel weird saying I don't like commenting on this type of thing, but she has had very visible plastic surgery, and I feel bad whenever that happens because I'm like, oh, this is gonna look so rough in 20 years, and people are gonna be so mean about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, do whatever you want to your body. I don't care.
Add a machine gun instead of a left arm.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I don't get into enough machine gun fights, but maybe if I could have each of my fingers do something different technologically, that could be cool.
Maybe a pogo stick for a left leg.
Whoa, what am I, Marvin Bagley?
Ah,
Okay, number 7, Abraham Lincoln, aka the bright skin, aka Chet Holmgren. Is this who you have here as well?
this is not who I have. I have Chet number 8. I have Jaren Jackson Jr. number 7. I'm still Triple
Okay.
J pilled.
Hey, respect. I am Triple J pilled as well too. I just I don't know. Chet, the efficiency with which Chet plays offense, feels like it would be like right now, last year, it would feel like if Jaren Jackson Jr. gets to that level, that would be like a career year for him. I don't know. What was Chet at true shooting percentage wise this last year? I want to say like 62, 63%. Let me check this. Yeah, he was at 63%. I believe Jaren Jackson Jr.'s career high is 61%, and that came in 2023. So yeah, I like the efficiency that he brings as a player, or just as an offensive player more. And then I also think transformative defender as well. There's a lot of those on those lists, believe it or not. All these fucking rim protectors, everybody's really good at changing the way offenses are able to attack their teams. Yeah. So Chet, incredibly smart player with the ball. Not to call like, oh, he's white, he's crafty, he's smart. Oh my god, but he is really good. And I think the gap between him and Wemby in terms of efficiency, going back to Wemby's proclivity for taking some insane shots sometimes, that efficiency gap is not just a byproduct of like having good players taking defensive attention away from him. Chet like really knows where to be to get extremely good quality looks. And then he shoots the 3 exceptionally well as well. And I was really high on him maybe doing some like quirky fun on ball stuff while Hartenstein takes care of all the boring traditional center things this year. But we're gonna have to wait until like mid-November to figure that out, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's fair to have Chet above him, but I I'm giving him grace for this Grizzlies year. It's not canon. He did have a career year in scoring volume, but the efficiency obviously went down because he had to. He was playing with Pereira, Alex Pereira or something.
Yeah.
He's playing with Brazilian guys. He Yeah, I think he is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. Like truly, probably I don't know where he's one of the top perimeter defending bigs in the league. Like I think he might be better than Anthony Davis out there. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not confident in it.
Are we talking Chet or Jaren Jackson here?
Jaren Jackson. I think Jaren Jackson's fantastic on the perimeter. And then down low, the block panther. He blocks everything. I think he can run into some issues weight wise where some bigger guys can beat up on him. Some people complain about the rebounding.
Isn't
Which
he bad with fouls too? Am I making that up?
that has been a thing, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So but yeah, the pros, I mean, the last time we saw him with a real team, defensive player of the year.
He was incredible.
And then he also can space the floor. But he's weird because his 3-point shooting numbers haven't actually been that good. But in my mind, he's like really reliable shooter. I'm like, if I see Jaren Jackson open from 3, I'm like, close out, he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the last year he was at 32%. The year before he was at 36, and then the year before 32. 28, 39, or well, yeah, his second year in the league, 39% from 3. Wow. But I'm hoping that I'm a believer in his shooter. Like Anthony Davis, I'm like, that's canon. That's not canon. That's filler. But Jaren Jackson, I'm like, that's a shooter. Yeah, don't leave that guy open. And so I'm hoping for a bounce back there. And then I think he's obviously not primary self-creation level. It would have gone better this year. But I still think he can do some stuff on ball. He's not just like a pure play finisher. And then the passing is rough, but I just think he's a great player and like a big part of why the Grizzlies are like a super legit playoff team.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. They feel really comparable in my mind. Two great defenders that can't fucking rebound the ball to save their lives. Although Chet, he was at what, 8 a game last year? What's Jaren Jackson Jr.'s career high in rebounds per game? Do you have it in front of you?
Yes. Yes. So it came last year, his defensive player of the year.
What is he at? 7 rebounds?
6.8.
Oh my god. That's tough. That's tough.
Well, he's more of a 4, so he's more of he played with Steven Adams, so
Okay. I would like
that's not a good sign
because 4, he could rebound.
That's not a good sign because Steven Adams is a boxed out guy. Like he's known for making everyone else get more rebounds.
Russell Westbrook, 20 rebounds a game playing with Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson Jr. I can't get it. What do you guys want from me? Yeah, he's really good. I have more faith in the Chet jump shot just because we haven't seen him be terrible yet. But if Jaren Jackson Jr. comes back, that's really no surprise to me. Well, I think overall, efficiency wise, definitely much better next year. We'll just be looking at a completely different shot diet than what they were forcing him to do this year. And this season, underrated floor raising from Jaren Jackson Jr. as far as like just picking up a defensive unit goes. They were through the first 49 games where Jaren Jackson only missed 2 games, they ranked 10th overall in defense, and they were like the 3rd best defense within 5 feet of the rim. They were really
nuts.
yeah. He was very good at all that stuff. It was just offense was really difficult, and they were brutalized by injury and scandal as well. But overall, he's very good. And then Chet, everything I oh fuck, did my computer just die? Oh my god. Well, I got to restart it now. So, Chet, the only thing I know for sure right now is that he was 39% on like nearly 4 catch and shoot attempts a game last year. He was phenomenal shooting the basketball. And it's not like those were possessions where teams were like, we'll live with that. By the end of it, like they were flying at him. And he was still doing it really well. I don't think it held up into the postseason that much. But overall, really, really dominant rookie year.
Yeah. Who's your number 9? Timestamp.
Timestamp. I just got my shit back on, so we're cooling. 108. Number 9. I'm torn between these two. I'm gonna go Sabonis. Is he even on your shit at all?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't make my top 10, but
yeah, I knew it.
who's the other guy?
It's Gobert.
I didn't have him either.
Okay. Damn. Okay. And I was torn. I have several names that could easily have replaced these two that are like just as good players. I just want to see it a little bit more.
Well, my 10 spot could be Gobert, but it's not. But it's definitely you could argue that. But my 9 spot is not.
Hey, so Sabonis, I'll just give the little spiel right here. Everyone else on this list before him, I'm confident I could like build a championship team around. Sabonis has just been so productive in the regular season that I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. They're like, maybe you can win a championship with a big man that doesn't defend or shoot at a high level. And this Sacramento team is just not, it doesn't maximize what he does well. It's not like the best version of a supporting cast for him. I think he's one of the best regular season players, one of the best passing big men, one of the most consistent, efficient, like 18 points per game in the league. And I think his postseason performance against Golden State, Jokic would have dominated it, Embiid would have dominated it, Giannis, blah, blah, blah. It's a bad matchup for him specifically. Looney and Draymond, the combination of the two.
If he just didn't run into Looney, man.
Hey, Looney supplementally, in addition to the greatest defender of this generation. Jesus Christ. Dude. Oh my God.
I'm such a Sabonis hater.
Such an asshole, dude. Oh, Draymond Green stabbed him in the back. He fucking just suplexed him through the stanchion. And Looney's got his 20th rebound. And Pablo says just God, he's so fucking soft. This is ridiculous. Yeah, I think he's good, and I'm willing to give him the leeway of like, maybe it's just not the right team for him and everything. However, it's running out. I will say that. Like, I can't go that much longer without seeing something that makes me really believe in like the ceiling of a team with him on it.
Worst Jewish center in the league.
Holy shit!
He might be the only Jewish center in the league. I don't know.
Other words you want to call him while you're at it? Fucking.
He's a Lithuanian. He's a Jewish convert. He converted for his wife. Wow,
that's hard. That's hard to do.
But yeah, Sabonis. I think he's just a regular season merchant. I think he's obviously good post-up player, good passer, good rebounder. The numbers are crazy, like 67% shooting, something nuts. Mm-hmm. But I just don't. I'm just not a believer when it comes to playoff time.
Like Russell Westbrook, would you have had like MVP Westbrook in your top 10 point guards?
Probably not all time, but
well, I mean, I'm not saying. I just mean like, I don't know. To me, it's like a similar thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. For everyone listening, Sabonis is not in the same tier. Westbrook, like, closer to like what Brunson was doing in terms of like comparability. But it's still just like there's all these questions about the ceiling of your team when he's on it and everything, or especially with Westbrook, because he's like, he absolutely has to spearhead it. Where I think Sabonis lends himself well to being like a second option and shit.
Like would I don't know. Like, if we were doing this 10 years ago or whatever, would I be the guy who's like Kyle Lowry above Westbrook, Mike Conley above Westbrook? Maybe I would. I don't know. But the guy I have now, there's probably no statistical argument for him being over Sabonis, but he's just better. And that is my boy Alperen Sengun, the Shen God.
Hey.
He's so good. He's so good. And so they're both post-up centers, but I think Sengun is just better. I think he's got more. I think he's more of an outlier in terms of strength. And I think his foul drawing metrics are really, really good. They've been good since Turkey. I remember Mike Schmitz was saying, well, hey, don't get too excited. He's got a friendly whistle over here, but then it's continued into the United States. So you do know Sengun is the youngest Turkish MVP ever, right? You know that, right?
I know someone else who fits that criteria, but it's for Israel. It's
Oh,
Denny. So that's Sengun, that's Sengun's company is Denny. They're birds
that's
of a feather that way.
no, that's Sabonis's company. Jews, no, guys. Hey guys, just for audio, you could probably tell audio wise, but I'm Jewish. I'm allowed to say. The
So funny that just that phrase. You could probably tell by listening, but I'm Jewish. Like, whoa, dude, what do you think you sound like?
hey, I've been told that.
Okay.
The yeah, what is it? There, no, I won't tell that story. The Shengun. Actually, no, it is funny. There was someone I knew who said the first thing they said, I could tell you were Jewish by your voice, and then later on they told me, you know, you're the first Jewish person I've ever met. So I was like, oh wow. So I guess it was like the voice of God speaking to them. They're like, this is a Jew. Yeah, Sengun. So I buy into his post scoring more than Sabonis. I think it's more. It could translate to the playoffs more, just by virtue of I think he's more physically gifted. I think he's got more moves and yeah, some more like shot versatility in the post. And I'd probably buy his touch more. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. I don't.
I agree.
What is in my mind Sabonis's post game works essentially. It's like very simplified. Like he's bash his shoulder until you go up. But maybe that's unfair to him. I don't know. Someone give me the anatomy of why Sabonis's post scoring works in the regular season and why it doesn't work against Kevon Looney and Draymond. The Sengun, I think he's not a jump shooter yet, so that's another holdup I
I
have with
want you to think
Sabonis.
he is.
Hey, he'll pump fake. uh, he's yeah, but I do buy in his touch to the point where I do think it is coming. Like I think it's, and I don't think it's crazy to say that. And then passing wise, I think probably Sabonis at this stage is probably a more reliable, sustainable passer, but I think Sengun is just a more talented passer. Like the highs of his passing are like Jokic level stuff. It's crazy. The downside is a lot of a lot of pump faking the nosebleeds on the opposite side of the court and doing like crazy stuff and manipulating the air. And so he like he's truly a psychopath.
He's 4D chess pilled. We're like
Yeah.
in his mind, he's like doing like the death note, like, oh my god, if I do this, then he's gonna understand that I'm actually trying to do that, and then I'm trying. And the defender is just like, he has not moved for 6 seconds. What's going on?
Did he just pump fake from 19 feet? He shoots 0% from 19 feet. So, but I think he's an incredibly talented passer. The Rockets offense is clearly better when it's running through him. And then I think he maybe it's controversial to say he might already be a better defender than Sabonis. I think he's just more livable because like I said, I think he has an outlier level of strength. He's tiny. How tall is Sabonis? Sabonis 6'11" wingspan. Is he 6'10"?
I would assume he's 6'10".
So Sengun is a little tiny. He's like 6'9", I think, but he does have a 7-foot wingspan. So both these guys are little. But Sengun does have a little bit of a plus wingspan going on. I think he has an outlier level of strength that he can weaponize defensively, and I think he has really good hands. So he gets more steals and blocks than you would expect from that type of player. And so I think there is a pathway to him finding a way to be consistently workable defensively. And the Rockets defense was really good this past year. What did they finish in the top 10? I know they spent a large part. They were number 4 for like a long part of last year. And so if with him at center, like theoretically that should be impossible, but I think he's just better than people realize.
Yeah, they were the
So
9th best defense. That's what they finished as.
yeah, so I'm so Sengun pilled. It's crazy. And I'd rather have him than Sabonis right now. But I understand people who would have Sabonis. But I think you're boring and you're an idiot.
Okay, all right. I also I agree with everything. I mean, I don't give a shit if someone wants Sengun. It's
And if
Sengun.
you disagree, the Rockets fans will come in. They'll give you death threats. They're like Miami.
That's fine. What are they gonna drive through 8,000 miles of concrete to get to me? That's just driving across Houston. Yeah. They finished ninth defensively. That's probably a testament to Sengun right now and like where he sits as a defender, which it's not crazy or anything, but he does. When you talk about them being smaller, it definitely feels like Sengun reaps the benefits you would expect from a small player more in terms of like he is an agile mover when he's
I
downhill.
forgot to mention he can do like a face up attacking off the dribble stuff and attacking off when they do close out on the pump fake on the non-existent jump shot pump fake. He can cook out of that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's exceptional when he gets downhill. And can like it pump faking right under the rim. It's different. Like when he's looking at those shots and gets defenders up in the air, then he gets the opportunity to like throw cool skip passes. He'll have a lot of fun transition pieces with Thompson and I mean their team is just full of athletes. I'm excited to watch Jabari Smith as well. Uh yeah. So I understand the Sabonis thing with Sengun. I just feel right now I would go Sabonis, but if by the end of the year it's not looking like that anymore, I wouldn't be shocked. Like I begrudgingly put Sabonis and Gobert here to represent the old guard. I had a feeling you would take a new wave approach to it. And so I figured we could split up these back players pretty well. But yeah, I'm going Sabonis. Sengun's not insane to take though, definitely. And if I was looking for a young player or to someone to like build around even for like the next 3 or 4 years, I would do Sengun, no question.
Next 3 or 4 games, who you taking?
Uh, it's not even fair. Like, what if Sengun does look like shit in the playoffs? What if he just gets fucking nuked by somebody?
I mean, what if there's a sixth dimension? I can't picture
There
it.
probably is.
I
I mean,
can't picture it.
yeah, it's because you're third. Christopher Nolan did a whole thing about this.
What did he say?
He said the movie Interstellar, that love is the most powerful force in the universe. It transcends gravity and time and space and all of that stuff. And so if you love Sengun that much,
I
then
do.
fucking yeah, Dick Rider. But whatever, man. Who do you have 10th then? I have Gobert. Let me timestamp real quick. What are we at? 122. All right, yeah. You cook. Who do you have at 10?
I have Towns. I'm not married to it.
Okay, okay. So you think Cat was better than Gobert for the Timberwolves?
It's tough because Gobert, obviously the reason why the defense got better. But I do think there's obvious limitations in the playoffs. Like as much as people downplay him and say like he's ass and we come to his defense,
Mhm.
it's just tough to it's like
What if he
yeah,
wasn't getting paid so much? Do you think they could build a team around him that those limitations would not be like detrimental?
I'd probably feel better about it. I don't know. It's really it is tough for me to think because it feels like yeah, he's fantastic, but he if like every year you happen to run into the wrong kind of offense, like I think just the types of offenses that exploit him or the types of situations that exploit him um are just what exists at the highest levels of
Mhm.
basketball. And the offense is not good. Like it's just something you have to live with. He's a fine lob threat, but like the hands are an issue, the passing is an issue. Um and the perimeter defense isn't really in it, but like I don't know if he's not trash. Like a lot of people completely turn on him. I think he's just I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about him versus Towns?
I think like just being, and I don't know if how long this will continue. We could have very well just seen the last year of it, just like being this walking elite defense. That admittedly, to me, running into Luca and that happening felt a little bit separate than all of the times it collapsed in Utah. Which like we're talking about him right now, so I guess that doesn't matter that much. But like Luca being able to like just not even see their all defensive wing at all. Just like that guy is not a factor in any of these pick and rolls anymore. It makes Gobert's life, obviously it makes his life extremely hard. I just don't know like how much of that collapse I put on his shoulders. Cause like, I mean, if he's helping up, like I don't know how you're supposed to stop the Luca floater or the lively lob. And when I think about like problems I have with Karl Anthony Towns, I think like you have similar things and just like the floor he's displayed as an individual player. Like it's not a walking elite defense. It's like a good shooting big man, one of the greatest shooting big mans of all time. But as like a floor raiser in the regular season, he's not insane. And then when you get into the postseason, this consistency issue is something that I hesitate to like lean on players for, I guess, where to me maybe it's better for me to like fully comprehend the pros and cons of you as a basketball player than to spend the entire regular season knowing that you're 23 points per game on 40% from 3 volume, and then we get into the postseason and you're like 5 fouls a night, and if you're not having the best shooting night of the series, then you're having like this 3 for 15 disaster class where if we didn't have an all-star center off the bench and Naz Reid, shit would get really scary for us really fast.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. What I was thinking about was like, how would I feel if the Knicks got Gobert instead of Towns? And I was like, I actually would like the Towns fit more, just because I feel like he fits around other players better. I think the spacing at the 5 is a huge obstacle for other teams to try and deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it's a huge weapon. And
It would be bigger to me if he could attack mismatches. That's like a problem that comes along with, because like when I hear spacing from the 5 position, I'm like, okay, well you're dragging my rim protector all the way out there. Not always, not in the Mavs series. Like you're dragging PJ Washington out there, and Derek Lively still gets to do all of this other stuff. Because Towns is doing like an offensive foul and a half per game.
yeah, that's so I'm higher on his ability to do that in the regular season. Like I think he was cooking when he's dropped 60 on the Hornets or whatever. PJ Washington was part of the guys he was cooking, but yeah, he did not do that in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So he
he didn't do it
yeah,
in the second half of the 60 game.
I don't remember. I
They
don't remember.
lost.
Did they lose that? Oh, they
Yeah,
did lose that. But
yeah,
wait, what? Oh yeah, he started doing too much. Or what did he? Oh,
yeah. He came out in the second half, and it was like we're chasing 60. That's what it felt like, and then it got to the point where it's like, okay,
oh,
he's cooking, but he's not like in the first quarter, it was like it was like Kevin Love scores 17 in a quarter or whatever, like just otherworldly shooting performance. And
you know,
then what?
I remember now. I did like a 10-minute TikTok video about it. Like was it fair? Because they came out afterwards and they were like trashing him. Like the coach was openly like this idiot. We had to bench him because he was being too much of an idiot. And I watched and like he took a couple bad shots, but the defensive breakdowns were not on him. Like there were a few on Anthony Edwards and other people. Like he totally got scapegoated for that entire thing. But yeah, I think Yeah, as we talk through, it's definitely fair to not have him here, and but it's weird because I feel hangups with him and Gobert, and there are some other guys like for example, Markkanen. It's tough to play because we haven't seen it in the playoffs, but like purely regular season,
He's better.
maybe I would put him there just because he's fantastic shooter, off ball, offensive player spacer. Um, I think Towns is probably better defensively than him. Um, would you know what would it? Maybe it would be fair. How would you feel about Draymond above those two?
Above Cat and Gobert,
Yeah, would you take him over either of those two?
I could see the Gobert argument, because like you're getting similar floor raising stuff. I think just by virtue of being like a worse like straight rim protector, um, than like the pluggability of Draymond, you're gonna need like better defenders around Draymond than you will around Gobert to like really start to see the floor raising ability. But Draymond, as an offensive player, even when he's shooting like 30% from the field, obliterates Gobert, in my opinion. Like it's not close. I think Draymond's passing ability and the way that unlocks not just Steph, but even anybody who can cut effectively. Yeah, that's a big thing. I think it's just too little offense to like talk to Cat. Or, I don't know, because I have Gobert over Cat, but like the reasons why Draymond adds, like he throws a wrench into all of that. I don't know. If I was like building a real like a contender, I want Draymond, but it's tough. What do you think? I mean, are you gonna go to bat for Draymond here?
I think I could definitely argue him over Gobert because I still think he's closer to his defensive peak than people think. Like I don't think he's fallen off that much. Like there was just a clip on Twitter I saw in the preseason of him flying around doing everything. Um, I think he's just a guy like I think he does protect the rim well. And he does all the other he scales to like the perimeter and everything else. And then yeah, the offensive issues like they're there with him obviously, but they're there with Gobert too. Um, I might prefer him. I don't know. It's really tough to place. Another guy here that could be here, but durability issues is Porzingis. Like
Yeah.
the when we see Porzingis healthy,
Do you want to get into honorable mentions right now then?
yeah, we could because my number 10 spot officially inconclusive.
Okay, you're a fucking weenie. Oh my god, you ducked the
I'm
sink.
just I'm just a thinker. I'm just kind of like an intellectual type because like sometimes definitives and certainties they kind of hold you down to a position that might not be true, and it's just for aesthetics that you kind of have to hold that position. But I'm just kind of open to it. I'm kind of fluid. I'm kind of like Bruce Lee Water. I'm kind of like the Hong Kong protesters. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, you're weird. You're weird, dude. You're fucking tweaking. I had Porzingis. Yes, I didn't write Draymond down, but I'm fine with him being here. He just didn't really pop into my mind. Um, I have Porzingis, Sengun, Mobley, Jared Allen, Lowry, and Julius Randle.
Nasrid, does he deserve one?
Nasri deserves it in the way that like Aaron Gordon on the wings, or he's like better than Aaron Gordon. Like he deserves to be mentioned here, but I don't think there's a real case to like argue him through that whole list of names I just brought up, and like he
Oh,
comes out on top.
would you say he's better than Aaron Gordon?
Um,
Whoa, Nuggets fan.
hey, hey, hey. Maybe if Aaron Gordon signs his extension soon, maybe if he lowers his fucking price, although he's looking for the max. You're not getting it, big man. Catch the fucking lob. Take this 30 mil.
So yeah, Jarrett Allen, really high level regular season defensive anchor, good passer, little floater type action. But what did he do in the playoffs? Was he good in the playoffs this year? Well,
He
that
got
whole
hurt
team
in a
was.
weird way.
Oh yeah, he got hurt in a gay way. He was faking it.
Yeah, yeah, and like the medical report comes out because the slow motion replay, he gets like breathed on wrong and collapses. And the slow motion report, they're like, "Oh yeah, the entire back of his rib cage like crumbled into dust. Like this is an extremely serious injury." And my whole timeline's just like, classic Jared Allen.
And the
Statistically,
reports
though,
are like, he won't play through it. He's a coward.
he's weak. He's weak. He won't get. That was it. Was like they're offering him an injection that will like completely numb everything.
Yeah, they're offering him the cure. He's rejecting the cure.
Yeah, so they were 2-2 with him against Orlando, and he looked pretty good. 17 points, 14 rebounds, 2.3 stocks, 67% from the field. That's crazy, dude. He averaged 17 points on 9.3 field goal attempts.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I like him a lot. Same with Mobley. Porzingis, I agree. It's just the durability thing as well. It's like even scarier than like a Giannis Embiid conversation or anything. Like, I think them getting what they got out of him last year, people are acting like that's like, maybe like the middle of the road. That's like an average season you could expect from him. I was surprised that he was that durable last year for sure.
Yeah. So it's really Towns' playoff dropping makes the whole thing much harder. So yeah, I don't know. Who's my number 10? Tune in next time.
Tune in next time. Hey, if Lowry's real, if Sensabaugh nuts up and gets him to the playoffs, and Lowry's real, if Lowry's like 22 on elite efficiency,
But then he might be a sensible merchant.
I have no dude. I don't care. I'll put him here. Holy shit! If Lowry's real, I want him to be in this group. Like he's, I love Markkanen. Okay, all right. That's honorable mentions. Do you have any other names?
What if Vucevic shot 50% on wide open shots? He'd be ass. Get him out of here.
That's like it's like Sabonis becoming like a 38% on 2 attempts 3-point shooter, where it's just like, okay, take them. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I know another great big man.
Oh, he would be at 10 easy.
Oh,
He'd be higher.
Oh my God. Running the triangle, the touch, the defense, his cool hair, the way he yelled when he would dominate his opponents. Oh my God.
Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol, take it away.
Lay down a list of what